right, it looks like maybe most people have joined at this point. So welcome. My name is Ester Odermatt. I'm a mental health worker at the Northumberland Family Health Team. It's a pleasure to have you joining me today. I look forward to spending the next little bit of time with you, focusing on self-compassion and creating peace of mind. So I just really like this picture on this first page here that says there's no greater wealth in this world than peace of mind. And I think this is particularly true these days as we are facing so much more stress and anxieties during this difficult COVID time. So before we get going, I do want to just tell you a little bit about our agenda and a little bit of additional information. So first of all, I just want to let you know that we'll be spending approximately 45 minutes to an hour together today. The opportunity to spend this time is really focused on you and your wellness and practicing some mindfulness and practicing the ability to maybe to find some of that peace of mind that we're all really hoping for and craving right now. So I'm going to spend some time introducing you to the concept of radical acceptance, and then we will be jumping into some mindfulness practices to practice that radical acceptance concept of peace of mind. So I do just want to let you know that if you have any concerns, questions, please do pop your questions into the question and answer box located at the bottom of your screen. Karen Peters, who is our pharmacist at the Family Health Team, will be monitoring those questions and will answer any of them that she can, or kind of calibrate them and have them ready for me at the end, where I will offer some answers to any questions that you may have. As this is a webinar, you don't have the ability to interact with me directly as far as camera or video or auditory. So please do pop those questions into that screen where we can then address those questions at the end as able. Okay. And just again to remind you that we will be practicing mindfulness today. If this is a new concept for you, that's okay. Just follow along as best you can. The real core concepts of mindfulness is that there's no right or wrong way of doing it. So if this is your very first time doing mindfulness, great. I'm so happy that you're joining us. If this is something that's old hat for you, I'm hopeful that the practices I lead you in today will be equally beneficial for you. And mindfulness can at times be triggering of emotions. If you find that this does happen for you, feel free to take a step away and practice some self-care or continue listening if you can in order to maybe be able to ground back and feel better at the end of the practice. So in order to start off, I often find that when we're, busy rushing around trying to get to a webinar, or who knows what else has been going on in your day this morning, maybe getting kids organized or just multiple things, maybe you're rushing from one task to the next. I often just want to take a moment to do what's called a soft landing, which is just a short breathing space to offer a transition period from all that busyness that you were just doing to maybe being able to be centered and ready to take in any information today. So for this soft landing, I just invite you to close your eyes if that's comfortable for you. If not, just find a spot on the wall or on the floor to gently direct your gaze. And just start off by taking the breath in and out. In and out. And I just invite you to continue to follow your breath for a few more inhales and exhales. Just taking note of the cool air entering through your nose and the warm air exhaling out through your nose. In and out. Maybe just taking a moment to notice if you're warm or cold. If you're noticing any aches or pains or racing thoughts. And returning your focus back onto the breath. Just allowing yourself to be here now and transition from the time and things that you were doing before to just being here now. I just invite you to take 2 final cleansing breaths. And when you're ready, open your eyes and know that you're in this place and this time right now for a reason. And just reorienting yourself to the room. All right. So thank you for joining me in that transition, soft landing, breathing practice. So as you are all attending today, I'm guessing that you all have some sort of anxiety or depression or stress, something that's disturbing that peace of mind that you're craving and wanting and hoping that you can obtain. So the opposite of peace of mind is kind of the concept that we live in a very hurried world where we're always striving to, do the next thing, do better, be better, run from this task to the next as a parent, maybe as an employee, as someone who's coping with COVID and all of that, and the anxieties that brings up. We often just live in a very hurried, rushed environment where, we fall into bed at the end of the day and we're so exhausted. And hurried doesn't have to mean physically hurried. It can mean emotionally hurried, where our mind and our thoughts are bouncing around and it just never seems to still. And so even if we haven't physically been rushing around, we're still really tired because we live in this hurried existence. And because we live in this hurried existence and we lack peace of mind, often we feel, or it can bring up feelings of self-judgment, maybe self-criticism, which never allows us to be our own best friend. It never allows us to say, give ourselves a pat on the back and say, hey, you made it through the day, good job. It seems to me that when we don't have peace of mind, we're really, really hard on ourselves. And when we're really hard on ourselves, that increases our feelings of distress, that increases our feelings of anxiety and sadness and stress. And unrealistic expectations of ourselves and of the way that things should be. We have expectations of the way things should be, how a day should flow. But this prevents us from being happy with the day as it is. If we're always expecting something different, we can never just have peace of mind in the moment, which again steals away the ability to live a calmer, more peaceful life. And that inner critic of ours that, rears its ugly head a lot of the time often nitpicks at us and drives us to do more and more and more and more. And it becomes a vicious circle. And we still feel like we have to do more because we're falling short of our own expectations. Sometimes I think this might mean, I didn't get the dishes done or the laundry done or some other task that we feel is super important. And then we fall short of that expectation, and then we feel even more critical of ourselves, which then increases our feelings of distress, and peace of mind floats ever further away. So I think about how we need to take opportunities to maybe reduce our expectations of ourselves, or maybe allow ourselves to have breaks, as you're doing this morning with me. You're taking the opportunity for a few minutes to say time out to the rest of the world and time into your own wellness. And I'm so excited that you're here today. So, how do we cultivate this peace of mind if we live in this hurried world and we feel self critical and like we can never quite do enough? How do we slow down? How do we find peace of mind in amongst all of the stressors that we're facing in today's society? Well, the way to do that is by practicing the art of radical acceptance. And the art of radical acceptance is an art. It's something that's going to take you time to develop. We're just going to scratch the surface today of what it is. But it takes time and practice to develop the art of radical acceptance. So, what is it? Well, first of all, I want to just acknowledge that this terminology and the material that I'm presenting is the result of a study and work done by Tara Brach in her book, Radical Acceptance. She has a wonderful book. If you're looking for a resource to read on how to cultivate peace of mind by utilizing radical acceptance, I highly encourage you to read the book Radical Acceptance by Tara Brach. So radical acceptance is accepting life as it is and not trying to change what you cannot change. So radical acceptance is basically the idea of accepting life as it is and not trying to control things that are outside of your control. I think about how many times we try to control things that are outside of our control. I think COVID's a great example. We try to maybe control what we can, but then there's a part of COVID that just is not, it's there, and that's outside of our control. We can't magically make it disappear. On maybe a more personal level, things that are outside of your control might be whether or not your child behaves today, or whether or not you feel overwhelmed at work, whether or not your boss gives you another project to do. That's outside of your control. But what is in your control is accepting the circumstances of life as it is. And I know many of you are thinking, oh my goodness, how can I possibly do that? Well, the important thing is to remember to really challenge ourselves when we're saying concepts or terms like I can't stand this, or life isn't fair, or this situation isn't fair, or it shouldn't be this way. What if we approach it a little bit differently? What if we approach it with acceptance of, yeah, you know what, this is hard, this is difficult. Being given another task at work is, the last thing I need today, or a grumpy child, or a difficult spouse, or having to go out in the cold when I really don't want to go out in the cold. Having pain, maybe we're experiencing pain. All of this is outside of our control. But acceptance doesn't actually mean agreeing. So I don't have to agree with what's going on. It just means that you accept it for what it is, instead of trying to fight against it and change something that isn't able to be changed. So, acceptance of the difficult, this is very hard. No one enjoys experiencing pain or sadness or stress or disappointment or any of the other difficult emotions. None of us enjoy that. But here's the kicker: emotions are a part of life. Emotions are, uh, you know, natural and normal. They're with us since we're babies. And while we enjoy the easy emotions like happiness and joy and excitement, it's harder to accept the difficult emotions. But radical acceptance is actually allowing us the opportunity to accept those difficult emotions and knowing that they'll change, because no emotion, no feeling lasts forever. Think about the last time you felt happy. That didn't last forever. Think about the last time you felt sad. That didn't last forever. Emotions are ever changing. And when you try to avoid the difficult emotions, you actually add to your emotional suffering. The difficult emotion actually sticks around longer. The sadness stays longer. The anxiety stays longer, because it takes up more space and time in our lives and in our mind, which then just makes it last longer. And I think about how a moment of radical acceptance, where we can accept that things are difficult, even if we don't agree, even if it's not, something that we're joyful about, but if we can accept the difficult, then we can actually have a moment of peace and a moment of freedom. Acceptance means that you can turn your difficult emotions and negative thoughts into accepting thoughts like, I'm in this situation. I don't like it, and I don't think that it's okay, but it is what it is, and I can't control or change it. That's very different than the previous statements of, I can't stand this. This isn't fair. It shouldn't be this way. Why me? The bad things always happen to me. Those statements are very difficult than, I'm in this situation, and while I don't like the way it makes me feel, and I don't think that it's okay, it is what it is, and because I can't control other people and other things, I'm just going to be in this moment and know that this moment will pass, and know that my feelings and the difficult emotions that I'm having will turn into different emotions, maybe happiness, maybe excitement, but it will change. And therefore, because I am accepting of the circumstance as it is what it is, I can create peace of mind rather than fighting against the thing that I don't have control over. So I really like this quote, and it says, do not see acceptance as a weakness. Accepting a situation does not mean you are giving into it. Acceptance simply means that you recognize and understand your current situation. Acceptance allows you to be free from the shackles of denial and move forward in life, creating a new path and a new life for yourself. So, with that all being said, I would like to move us into a mindfulness practice, a practice that cultivates and helps us with this concept of peace of mind and creating peace of mind. So, this mindfulness practice is your breathing anchor practice, where you root your awareness into the present moment, like an anchor that roots a ship in one place. This will help you dissolve anxiety, decrease stress, and allow your body to heal in a relaxed and peaceful state. So to begin, I invite you to adopt as comfortable of a position as you can. It's often best to be sitting, but you can do it in any posture. If you feel like standing, that's okay. Laying down, or even walking. You're welcome to practice in any form that's most comfortable to you. My guidance with you today will assume that you are actually in a seated position, so feel free to adapt as you need to. So to begin, I actually just invite you to gently close your eyes and sitting with your back upright, just allow yourself to sink into the seat beneath you. See if you can sit in a way that allows you to feel alert yet relaxed. Allow your body and the gravity to just sink you into the seat. And know you are supported by that seat and the ground beneath you. And gradually allow your awareness to gather around the sensations of your breath. Where do you feel your breath most strongly? Be curious about your breath, letting go of what you think it should be, and just experiencing your breath as it is, without trying to change it or manipulate it, or think that you ought to be breathing more deeply. Just breathe and build awareness around that breath. Now very gently bring your awareness to your whole body. Can you feel your belly swelling on the in-breath? And can you feel your belly subsiding on the out-breath? Do you notice any movement or sensations of the breath in your sides or your back of your body? Where do you feel the breath? Remember to be accepting of whatever experience your breath is offering you, without changing it or manipulating it or think that you're doing it wrong. Just be curious about your breath. Maybe you can note the breath going down your throat and your diaphragm opening and expanding. Maybe you notice that your breath is cultivating warmth. Without judgment, just practicing the art of focusing on your breath. Allow the breath to be kind to you as it rocks and cradles your body, and soothing any stressors or pain. And remember, when you're focusing on your breath and practicing mindfulness, it doesn't actually have to mean that you have a blank mind. It's normal to think. If you have thoughts passing through your mind as you're breathing, that's okay. We all are thinking beings. We're allowed to have thoughts. We're allowed to think about whatever it is that passes through our mind. I just invite you to allow it to pass through instead of stopping and dwelling on anything difficult that might be arising. Maybe thoughts of, oh, I should be doing something else, or oh, this pain is really bad, or my anxiety is creeping in and I have so much to do, or I'm really worried about COVID. Just allow those thoughts to come and equally allow them to go. Retraining and cultivating your awareness and creating peace of mind by focusing on what's happening to you in this moment, what's happening with your breath. What's happening to you physically with each breath. What's happening to your emotions as you sit and breathe and allow your thoughts to come and go. As this can help you gradually change your perspective and feel that you have more of a choice in how you relate to your life in this moment. Maybe allowing yourself to think the thought or have the emotion that comes out, but not get overwhelmed with it. Once again, just allowing it to come and go. And remembering that our thoughts are not facts, even though we often think they are. And maybe you can just let go and not get caught up in it quite as much. Following the breath all the way in and all the way out. In and out. And each time that your awareness wanders, as it will, simply noting the wandering and returning to the breathing anchor, time after time, moment by moment. Making sure that you're very kind and patient with yourself, rather than feeling self-critical. Again and again, bringing yourself back to patience and breath. And remember, each time that you notice your thoughts wandering, it's a wonderful moment of awareness. A moment where you have woken up from getting stuck in that thought, and a moment of choice where you can choose to return to the breath and cultivate and develop peace of mind. Now just focusing for the next few moments on your breath. Allowing yourself to sink deeper into the chair and noticing the thoughts and emotions, and then gently letting them go. And now, as we begin to bring the breathing anchor practice to a close, gently allowing your awareness to open up to the room that you're in, taking a moment to hear what you hear. And opening your eyes and allowing yourself to reorient to the space and room that you're in. Feeling your whole body. Maybe take a nice big stretch. And allow yourself to just know that you have taken time for you today by using your breathing as an anchor to develop peace of mind. This practice is a wonderful, wonderful practice to utilize over and over and over again to cultivate peace of mind. You can find practices like this on YouTube or on a website called the Mindful Movement. Just allows you to be here now. Give yourself a break from all of that stress and anxiety and worry and sadness. To just develop a different kind of relationship with it. Thank you for practicing with me. The interesting thing, Carl Rogers says, the curious paradox is that when I can accept myself just as I am, then I can change. When we can accept our circumstances just as they are, then we can change. When we can accept that we don't have control over everything. And while it may be difficult and it may not be what we want, if we can accept that this is what we're in this moment, the next moment maybe we can feel something different. Because no one is perfect. So free yourself from those high expectations and just give yourself the opportunity to live without pressure of being perfect or having a perfect life or feeling like you should never experience anxiety or stress. Just know that you have given yourself the opportunity today to start changing and cultivating that peace of mind that you so desperately are wanting. And that's going to move us into another practice for today. This will be our last practice today. So for this one, again, I just invite you to find a comfortable position and allowing yourself just to settle back into that, calm, easy position, maybe shifting if you feel you need to. And gently closing your eyes or lowering your gaze to the floor. And bringing awareness to the three parts of your being. Your body, your breath, and your mind. All three are equally important. All three make up who we are. Just taking a moment of self-awareness to see where you're at with your body, your breath, and your mind. Being present, aware, and open. And notice now if there's any sensations arising in your body. An energy maybe that you can sense as you breathe. Or perhaps any other sensation, maybe aches and pains, warmth or coolness, being focused or unfocused. Whatever you notice, welcome it with a spacious allowance and awareness. Just allow it to be. What sensations are you having? Don't try to change anything or push it away. Just allowing space for any sensation that you may have. Remember, acceptance is the non-judgmental stance of not being critical of the experience. To accept is not an endorsement. To accept is not an opinion. To accept is simply to recognize, to notice. What is present with you here now? Are you noticing a stillness of your body? Or maybe movement? Are you noticing stillness in your mind or racing thoughts? Just be here now. And though it may not always be comfortable, if you're experiencing those difficult emotions or difficult thoughts, it may not be easy, but I encourage you to just be here now and practice acceptance. This might sound something like, I accept that I am anxious. I accept that I don't have control. I accept that I can breathe through the discomfort. I accept that life isn't always easy. I accept that my breath provides stillness. I accept that my breath allows me to be here now and cultivate peace of mind. I accept that I can have some softening of my difficult emotions and difficult thoughts. I accept that my emotions and thoughts will ebb and flow just like a tide, where sometimes they will be easier and sometimes they will be more difficult. And just like a tide, they will ebb and flow, which will allow me to cultivate peace of mind, knowing that these emotions will not last forever. Knowing that despite the difficulty in this moment or in the days ahead, right now, I can breathe and I can allow myself to just know that I am okay. And if I'm okay, I can be okay in the future. Once again, just returning that awareness to your breath and your thoughts and your body. Giving space, accepting what comes up, being curious, and then breathing that out, allowing myself to be here now, in the safety of my home, knowing that I am safe. Knowing that in this moment, all that I need to do is breathe and allow myself to know that despite the difficult, I will get through it. And as we end this practice, just knowing that I can return to this breath and this place of peace of mind anytime that I need to, where I can find peace and safety and comfort, where I can find acceptance and knowing that I'll be okay. I invite you to gently open your eyes and bring your awareness back to the space in the room you're in, and just reminding yourself that you have done a wonderful job today taking care of you, taking time to cultivate peace of mind by using acceptance and breath. Thank you for practicing with me today. And now to end off for today, I just wanted to share maybe a winter self-care challenge. I know that with the way the times are right now, it's sometimes difficult to find ways of taking care of ourselves and doing good things for ourselves. So just invite you to take a quick moment to look at the screen, and day 1 says use towels right out of the dryer. Day 2, invest in or make a good moisturizer. I think about maybe day 6, which is embrace hibernation and have a day of huggy. Huggy is the concept of kind of wrapping yourself up in blankets and comfort, and maybe having a hot cocoa and just embracing a day of warmth and a day to just sit with your breath and be in that moment. It's the time of year where maybe day 15 is a great great one where, baking cookies or other kinds of treats, or maybe going out and looking at holiday lights. Maybe it's just taking some time for reflection by journaling or drawing. Just taking a moment for you, doing things that are good for you in order to cultivate that peace of mind that we're looking for. I thank you for joining me today. And I hope that you are all doing well. And I invite you to now pop in any questions, if you have any, into the forum. And we'll do our best to answer any questions that have come up for you. That question and answer box at the bottom, I'm not seeing any questions at this point. So thank you for joining me today. I wish you a wonderful holiday season. And I look forward to maybe having you join again in the future. I will be doing more of these in the new year. Just times and moments of reflection and being able to maybe develop and cultivate mindfulness and peace of mind and coping with difficulty. Thank you and have a wonderful Christmas. Bye-bye.